Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, how are you feeling today?
Good.
Transcendental.
Transcendental. Varshana Mataji is feeling good. Okay, and let's see how people are doing on Facebook here. All right, let us see. Well, they are there. They can see you. I can tell you that much. And they are seeing Varshana Mataji, which includes Dilip Bhai Patel Prabhu, Shraddha-devi Dasi, and Namazya Mataji. Hare Krishna, Danvat Pranams. Okay, so what did we do this morning?
We're going to do Vigyapati Panchika.
Vigyapti Panchika prayers, exactly. So Vigyapti Panchika prayers coming up on a screen close to you here. And let's see. And Achita Radhe also joined us there. Okay, so do you see the Vigyapti Panchika prayers?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Om Ajnanatimarandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Matsamo nasti papatma naparadhi cha kaschana parihare pilajjame kim bhuve purushottama yuvati nam yatha yuni yunam cha yuvato yatha mano bhi ramate tatvan mano me ramatam tvai Bhumau skalita padanam bhumirevaavalambanam tvai jata paradhanam tvameva sharanam prabhu Govinda vallabhe radhe prarthaye tvamaham sada twadiyam iti janatu govindo mam tvaya saha Radhe Vrindavanadhiche Karunamritavahini Kripaya Nijipadabhya Dasyam Mahyam Pradiyata. Okay, and do we have somebody to take care of the reading order today?
Mataji, I can do it.
You can do that, Kathy?
Yes,
All right.
I should have done it earlier.
Okay.
So, I think Ishwari Radha Mataji,
Priyanka,
Priyanka Mataji.
Varshana. Soni, can you read?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. Soni, Varshana, and then Deepal, and then you and Neil Prabhu, and then I.
Yeah. So I posted it on the chat.
Okay, good. So whoever is next, please go ahead and do us the honor.
Ishwari Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you. O Purushottama, no sinner or offender is as bad as I am. How can I describe my shame? Just as the minds of young ladies take pleasure in a young man, and the minds of young men take pleasure in a young woman, kindly let my mind take pleasure in you alone.
Okay, scrolling for the next person.
Just as the ground is the only support for those whose feet have slipped, you alone are the only shelter for those who have offended you.
Oops, what happened? Next one, please.
Varshana Mataji.
Krishna Mataji. O Shrimati Radha Rani, beloved of Lord Govinda, this is my request. May you and Lord Govinda consider me one of your assistants.
O Shrimati Radharani, O Queen of Vrindavana, you are a river flowing with the nectar of mercy. Please be kind to me
and give me a little service at your lotus feet.
Fantastic. And so what are we looking for?
Reflections.
Reflections? Okay. Then do you have any?
Yes. Govinda Vallabhe Radhe Prarthaye Tvam Aham Sada Twadiyam iti janatu Govindo Mam Toya Saha.
All right. So you got that down, huh?
Meditating on that, it's nice.
Huh?
Hmm?
Say that again.
I said I'm meditating on that.
Meditating on that verse. That's a good thing to do, to
Yes.
meditate on prayers. So, yeah, how are you feeling, all feeling with your comfort level with this prayer by way of, knowing it? And Soni Mataji, are you saying something?
Yeah, Mataji, it's like step by step, you are building yourself up.
Okay, good. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So are you, do you remember? It's a little bit of it coming to your memory? Or
Yes.
coming? Blitz and
So it's Kim Bhuve Purushottama, like I can only come to you. And then
yeah, one of the, do you have a copy of these prayers with you? Do you have a copy?
No, I was thinking of getting a printout. I'll do
Yes.
it.
Where will we get the printout from?
I'll use the printer at home.
No. From where you'll get the file?
Oh, Mataji, it's on your website.
On the website. You'll get it from the website,
Yeah.
right? So before you start memorizing anything, we don't memorize things like a parrot. Parrot will just, whatever you say, it'll memorize, right? We first try to understand the meaning of the words, and then we try to memorize it. And if you do that, then it becomes easy for you also. You trust me. If you understand the meaning of the verse, it's easy to memorize it, right?
Okay,
So first read whatever is written as a translation. And I know Khyati Mataji has worked on, the word by word for that. And actually the ball is in my court, but I have a exam coming up next Sunday. So most of my time goes up into prepping for that exam. And but it is on my radar, Khyati Mataji. I do intend to work on it. So she has given a word by word also. I think she worked with Varshana Mataji, I think. Who did she work with?
Mataji.
Shraddha-devi Mataji, yeah. We worked with Shraddha-devi. And so, yeah. So like that. Just anyway, don't take a printout yet till the word by word is there, but you can download a PDF on your iPhone and you can.
Yeah, I have the PDF, Mataji.
Okay, yeah, you can just familiarize that with that. Yeah, how about the others? How are you feeling?
Mataji, I think I have memorized all of it. I write down every day. So
you write it down every day? Wow.
Yeah. So I started with just copying from the website, and now most of it I can just write by memory, and sometimes few words here and there, like, I need a start, and then I go back and I'll show you. Actually, I have it here.
Show it to all of us who are watching us on Zoom and
but it's very light. I keep writing it.
Good.
It's very, I think I'm writing with pencil, so it's very light. I don't know if you can read it or see it. But
yeah, I can see it. Yeah, it's a black.
So I just keep writing every day like that.
Wow. This is sadhana. This is practice.
And I think I have memorized it, but still it's not the way I want it, where I want it to be, like where, I can, just like I have a Hanuman Chalisa from my childhood, and I can start, I want to get there. I'm not there yet.
You will be there. Don't worry. With that much of effort, you'll be there. With that much of practice, you'll be there. You will be fluent in it very soon. Yeah.
I think writing it is really very inspiring.
Yes, and intense.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I have stopped liking to write. My handwriting used to be very beautiful, but nowadays it's almost like, you took a rat and put the feet in the ink bottle, and then the rat ran over your copy. That's how I write. It's horrible. And I don't.
Mataji, I'm enjoying it. I started it with the Bhakti Shastri first semester. When I did, I just didn't know how to do the shlokas memorized, and I started writing. And then in the beginning, I started just loving my handwriting, and I used to take time and write it beautifully. And then just love my work, and that way I started. But then I felt that that was helping me memorize it. So now I just started it. So this is my second notebook. I finished one notebook with the Bhakti Shastri stuff, and this is my
Notebook. Awesome.
second book. Yeah,
Very good.
but I like it.
Very
Very
good.
inspiring. Very
Yeah.
nice.
For all the others, here is homework for you. Yeah. Yeah. Very nice. Okay. Good. Good. More reflections on that. before we move
How can I describe my shame?
on? Okay.
Because I'm such an offender, it is difficult to describe myself to the Lord. I feel ashamed.
Yeah. It'll fill many of Priyanka's notebooks that she's
True.
using right now. The good things. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying Parashana about your bad things. I'm just saying in general about all of us. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that. Yes. More.
Twameva Sharanam Prabhu.
All right. Khyati likes that. And why do you say that, Khyati?
Because it's truly that we depend on Krishna for everything, right? Even our breath, our thoughts that come in our mind, um, good thoughts, of course. Bad thoughts, we know it's preloaded, automated programming that is running at this point of time. But all the new things that we are learning, and we depend on Krishna for that. So we surrender to Krishna, and we just pray that he will manifest the way he wants in our life.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good.
And that also gives like a sign of relief, right? That you are not in charge of everything.
Isn't it? It's very interesting thing that you bring. I mean, I really like that sense of relief. You don't have to worry about so many things because in any case, even after worrying, nothing happens.
Yeah.
And
And sometimes we mess up because we are worrying that we are not focusing on the facts,
the right thing. Yeah. Yeah. The energy is getting drained in another direction, right? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Right? Whatever has to happen has to happen. You have no control over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So yesterday you went to give you the set to Deepal Mataji, or you?
Yes.
So Deepal, you now have Krishna in your home, in additional Krishna.
Haribo.
And it is really nicely installed in their home, and they also accepted it like really very gracefully. I have few photograph in my phone. I will share it with the group.
Yes.
They were really very happy to receive it, and even like my nephew, he was also like 18 books. It fits perfectly.
How
So
old is the nephew?
he's 13, I think.
Oh, just the very good age. Yeah. And what's his name?
Ayan.
So Ayan. Deepal, if Ayan wants to read the Bhagavatam, he can read just the translations. The translations are printed in bold, and so he'll get the 30,000 feet view, which is okay at that age to get that. Wow, fantastic.
That would be awesome if he does that. I'll kind of motivate him to do that.
Yeah, you can start with Gajendra prayers. I mean, normally we are supposed to go from 1 to 2 to 3 for 4, but under the instruction of somebody else, you can pick up a chapter. So it comes in the 8th canto, right? It'll show the picture of an elephant outside. Kids like Gajendra prayers.
Yeah.
So you can,
Mataji, I was also thinking that Kameshwari Mataji has this flip book, right? Which
it's there in the corporate book distribution from that link. Yeah.
So
That
I'll search that and send it to
for
her.
kids flip
Yeah,
chart.
because I think that has like a systematic description of which canto has what, and even for kids they can relate to certain things, right?
Yeah. Ian can pick up.
Yeah. So I was saying that it has history, it has geography, it has science, it has mathematics, it has like everything in it. So
Astronomy.
astronomy, yes.
Kind of is beyond at astronomy, I would say. Astronomy, extreme astronomy. Yeah, it's really extreme astronomy. Yeah, and the way I mean, for my exam, I have to study the 5th canto, and so I was reading about Priyavrata, who's the son of Manu, and So, you hear Uttanpad, you hear the story of Dhruva, you say that they are kings and you think they're kings of India because the book comes from India and things like that. I mean, no, Priyavata was ruling the whole universe. It's like, wow, we used to think that, only Brahma was there, but no, he's there. And he didn't like the fact that, when the sun moves, so you see how half of the universe gets the light and half of it will not get the light day, and summers and winters, and the weather goes bad. So he didn't want to like it. He just wanted that throughout you should have good weather. When it is hot, the weather should become better like March, and then when it becomes cold, the weather should become better like October, like that. So he took his own he sat on his own effulgent chariot and he followed the sun. So that's what I'm saying, like, this is beyond astronomy, beyond cost. We spend millions of dollars and then have fake stories of man landing on the moon and things like that. And here is Maharaj Priyavata, he's following the sun. So it's amazing. It's mind-boggling astronomy, mind-boggling as to how he does that. And yeah. Yes. So yes, it'll keep your son fascinated, Deepal, and also yeah, it's better than Harry Potter. And sometimes, I think that Harry Potter writer read this in the previous birth, definitely, for sure. A lot of the inspirations, a lot of the creatures described in Harry Potter are described in Bhagavatam also. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. Okay. So are we ready to go to our next prayer for the day? Or are there more reflections from the first one? Maybe somebody wanted to say something and I didn't. Okay. No answer means you're ready. Okay, who's next to read?
I think it's Deepal Mataji.
All right.
Sakrad eva prapanno yas tava smriti cha yachate abhayam sarvada tasmai dadamya etad vratam mama.
Right. And you know what? There is a typographical mistake here. I had typed out this Sanskrit. And so this is Sakrit, right? If you're reading this should be a re here. I'll fix that. Yeah. Okay, good. And word by word? Who's going to give the word by word?
Suresh Prabhu.
Yes.
Sakrit, once only. Eva, certainly. Prapannaha, surrendered. Yaha, anyone who. Tava, yours. Asmi, I am. Iti, thus. Cha, also. Yachate, praise. Abhayam, fearlessness. Sarvada, always. Tasmai, unto him. Dadami, I give. Etat, this. Vratam, vow. Mama, my.
Garima Mataji, will you be able to read? So I can add you in the reading order.
No response means
Yeah,
can't.
I will read and probably later on I can answer. Yeah, she said no. No problem. It is my vow that if one only seriously surrenders unto me, saying, my dear Lord, from this day I am yours, and prays to me for courage, I shall immediately award courage to that person, and he will always remain safe from that time on.
From that time onwards, yeah. Before we go into the reflection for this, I quickly wanted to mention a few more comments that I got on Facebook. And Priyanka Mataji, there are people who are admiring the fact that you are writing the prayers and reading them. And, Namazia Mataji was one, Divyangi was another. And yeah, I also wanted to welcome a lot of people who joined between then and now. So we have Namazia Mataji, Achyuta Radhe, Raymond Gajendra Prabhu, and Murli Manohar Das Prabhu, Bhakta Ed. Welcome, Bhakta Ed, good to see you here. And Radha Das Prabhu, Divyangi Mataji is there, Dani Hill Mataji is there, Barsha Kalita is there, and Premlata Mundra Mataji watching us from India, and Ram Snehi Prabhu is watching. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining and for also for sharing your thoughts. Namasya is going to write the verses as well. And then Manome Ramatam Tvai is what Vidya-Vadhu Dasi says. Yeah, Manome Ramatam Tvai. That's a good practice to keep your mind on Krishna. And Achyuta Radhe says, I'm not able to read what, but I think she was talking about Tameva Jata, that part of the prayers. Okay, Govinda Mam Tvaya Sada, Achyuta Radhe once again there. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your reflections. Please continue to share your reflections on this Sakrit Eva Prapannoyas verse there. Okay, so now opening it up for reflections, and how do you plan to use this verse?
In this verse, Krishna is saying not only for surrendering, but also praying for courage, right? And he will immediately award it. So surrender plus courage, we need to ask both.
Yes, that's a good point. And sometimes we don't have the courage, that's why we hesitate to surrender, right? Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. I always pray for courage so that I can truly say the prayer from my heart.
Yeah. Yes, and if the courage is there, then how does it matter? It doesn't matter. For example, I was very scared of frogs. I'm still scared of frogs. So if a frog would come into the courtyard, I would be like, "You!" and start running. And my elder siblings, they were not scared of frogs. They would just take the frog and put it away somewhere. So what was the difference? It's a difference of courage, having the courage or not having the courage to pick it up and put it away like that. The same situation presents itself it's the same situation. You'll react to it differently depending on the level of courage that you have. Yeah. Good. What else? And let's see if there's something.
Fear is lack of courage, or it is previous conditioning that we have built up from experience, right? Because that also leads into fear. Because I faced something in the past that now I'm afraid of, like in your example, frog, right? At some point of time, something must have happened that leads to...
Yeah, I must have been an insect. So I'm afraid of this frog. Yeah. So fear will come because of understanding also. Like you see a snake is there and you understand what a snake can do, so you will be afraid of that, right? But still that if somebody is explaining it to you, that lack of courage can also just mesmerize you and have you dumbstruck and not able to do anything at all in such cases, right? Although you can, but you're so dumbstruck by the fear which is there, and you don't have any courage to handle it. So sometimes you can see a mix of fear and courage also, as people are trying to pick up the spider and keep it outside. I mean, of course they had the courage to do it rather than call somebody else in the home to put away the spider. But as they are doing it, they are still that little fear is there, but it's a combination that's going on there. So lack of courage is not necessarily fear is not necessarily lack of courage. You can have both of them side by side, but courage will help you overcome it and reduce the intensity of fear.
Mataji, in the army, the houses are very old ones. In CME, you see, the College of Military Engineering, the houses are very old, and snakes creep in from anywhere. So once we were sitting on the dining table studying, children were studying, and the snake just dropped on the table, dham. And we all got scared. Our neighbor, she came with the Bonvita bottle. She opened the lid and she just shoo, and she put it in the bottle and closed the lid. And we were shocked that how could she do that? And I mean, we were so scared then. Sometimes, but my husband is not at all scared of snakes. He just picks them up from the tail and drop the snake out the house.
Yeah.
So sometimes, Mataji, I'm really scared of snakes and lizards, and
Most of the people are. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Mataji, if one seriously surrenders, so this seriousness, it takes a while to you know, get into the mind and saying that I am serious about this, you know? So you have to like, I don't know, want it from inside and slowly, I guess someday it'll happen.
Yes, that's a very interesting point that you bring up. Serious. Like, you know, in the 4 laws of book distribution, what's the first law?
Serious,
Your what?
strict,
What?
strict being serious,
What should be strict?
your sadhana.
Your sadhana. Exactly. Your sadhana should be serious.
Mm.
Right? So unless you know, you're not doing your prayers, unless you're not doing the sadhanas, forget about just being able to distribute books.
Yes.
It's a fluke. So the sadhana has to be serious. You have to be serious about it. Serious about it means that you show up every day, right? No matter what, like that. So I'm serious about it. It's not that I just go to the temple for fashion. Everybody goes to temple for the fashion, so I go there. Everybody goes to get a spiritual master for fashion, so I go there and just do it like that, right? It's not like that. I'm serious about it. If I take a vow, I'm serious. I'm going to keep it. If I'm saying that I'm going to write from now onwards, the Anam is there saying I'm going to write the prayer, then you should write it. That shows seriousness there, right? Yeah, very good point that you bring up. And there are a few more comments here also that came here. My dear Lord, from this day I'm yours is what Vidyavadhu is saying. And yeah, that's a tall claim. That's a big thing, yeah, to become somebody's. And Bhakta Ed says that I pray for the courage to be humble and to listen. Courage to be humble. I really like that. It takes a lot of courage to be humble and to listen. Humility can be a scary thing. Others may view your humility as weakness. Yeah. Others may view your humility as weakness. This is a very interesting thing. Um, I was listening to the various um, offerings that the different disciples of Bhakti Swami Maharaj are doing. And so whenever you come to, whenever you hear about him, right, or look at him giving lectures and you know, singing songs and things like that, he comes across as a very sweet person. Those of you who have met him in person, and I had the good fortune, and ISV people had the good fortune for that, because he visited us, know him to be so sweet and so soft, right? But then when you listen to his disciples, they are very clear about it. They're saying that, you know, he was soft, he was humble, but when the right thing was there, he said it. He was very clear about it, very, very clear. So they can be sweet, they can be soft, but sweetness and softness, they can be humble also, presenting things in a very humble way. But you can present and be stuck to your point, be strict about the point, be always talking about that in a humble manner. So people will understand that, you know, I'm not weak. You know, just because I'm humble doesn't mean that you can twist me and turn me and twist the rules and, you know, try to get away with what you're not supposed to do and try to get away with. I will tell you, as my spiritual master, as your spiritual master, I will tell you that. You know, it's just the way that you tell it. It's the way that you tell it is a different thing. So yeah, so it's good to be humble, and sooner or later people will know that you're not weak, you're very strong, right? You're very strong. You can say your strength, like, and we have been talking about that so many times, like silence is the biggest strength in some cases, right? You just keep quiet and people understand that. Yeah. Anything else on this verse? Okay, then Suyash Prabhu, are you in a mood to share today? And do you have the technical capabilities?
I can share.
All right, let's see. Oh, this is beautiful. The deep.
It's Lord Vithala.
Huh? Wow.
Lord Vithala.
Oh, show it to us. Yeah, there you go. Very beautiful.
Panduranga.
Yeah. So whose turn is it to read?
Your Mataji.
My turn? Okay. Chapter 2, Contents of the Gita Summarize. Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana Krishna spoke the following words. Text number 2. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but to infamy.
You can scroll. Yeah. Text 3. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading impotence. It does not become you. Give up such petty weakness of heart and arise, O chastiser of the enemy. Text 4. Arjuna said, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu, how can I counterattack with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship? Hare Krishna.
Text 5. It would be better to live in this world by begging than to live at the cost of the lives of great souls who are my teachers. Even though desiring worldly gain, they are superiors. If they are killed, everything we enjoy will be tainted with blood. Text 6. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we killed the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield.
Hare 7. Prabhuji, kindly scroll it up. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is the best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Text 8. I can find no means to drive away this grief.
Did I lose her or everybody lost Varshana Mataji?
Yeah, we don't hear.
Yeah, can't hear.
She's also on mute.
I don't see her on mute though.
No, I see her on mute. I asked her to unmute. Okay. Anyway, maybe the next person can pick up in the.
I can.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Varshana. Finish it. That can you redo that verse? The last one I'm trying to read.
I can find no means to drive away this grief, which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it, even if the prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty, like the demigods in heaven. Hare Krishna.
Text 9. Sanjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Text 10. O descendant of Bharata, at this time, Krishna, smiling in midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to grief-stricken Arjuna.
Text 11. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. Text 12. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all the kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be.
Text 13. As the embodied soul continuously passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, O scion of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed.
Text 15. O best among men, Arjuna, the person who is not disturbed by happiness and distress and is steady in both is certainly eligible for liberation. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both.
Should I go in?
Yes, Mataji.
That which pervades the entire body, you should know to be indestructible. No one is able to destroy that imperishable soul. Text 18, the material body of the indestructible, immeasurable, and eternal living entity is sure to come to an end. Therefore, fight, O descendant of Bharata.
Text 19. Neither he who thinks the living entity the slayer, nor he who thinks it slain is in knowledge, for the self slays not nor is slain. Text 20. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Hare Krishna.
Text 21. O Partha, how can a person who knows that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, and immutable kill anyone or cause anyone to kill? Text 22. As a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones.
Hare Krishna, text 23. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burnt by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. Text 24. This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble, and can be neither burnt nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. Hare Krishna.
Text 25. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed.
Text, text 27. One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Text 28. All created things are unmanifest in their beginning, manifest in their interim state, and unmanifest again when annihilated. So what need is there for lamentation?
Text 29. Some look on the soul as amazing, some describe him as amazing, and some hear of him as amazing, while others, even after hearing about him, cannot understand him at all. Text 30. O descendant of Bharata, he who dwells in the body can never be slain. Therefore, you need not grieve for any living being.
Text 31. Considering your specific duty as Kshatriya, you should know that there is no better engagement for you than fighting on religious principles. And so there is no need for hesitation. O Partha, happy are the Kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets.
If, however, you do not perform your religious duty of fighting, then you will certainly incur sins for neglecting your duties and thus lose your reputation as a fighter. People will always speak of your infamy, and for a respectable person, dishonor is worse than death.
Text 35. The great generals who have highly esteemed your name and fame will think that you have left the battlefield out of fear only, and thus they will consider you insignificant. Text 36. Your enemies will describe you in many unkind words and scorn your ability. What could be more painful for you? Hare Krishna.
Text 37. O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planets, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight. Text 38. Do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat, and by so doing, you shall never incur sin.
Who goes next?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Mataji, may I start or Garima Mataji is going to, right?
No, Mataji, it is your turn. Go ahead.
Yes, it is my. Nainam chetanti shastrani, nainam tahati pavakah, na chainam nainam kledhyante apo, na shoshyati marutah. Hare Krishna.
Very nice.
Translation. Yeah. Na never enam this soul chindanti can cut to pieces shastrani weapons. Na never enam this soul the dhati burns pavarkaha fire. Na never cha also enam this soul Khaledayanti moistens, apaha water, na never, so sayati dries, marutaha wind.
Okay. Let's go back and look at the word before Marutaha. What's the Sanskrit word there? Yeah, this one, right? So you see the S, it is not simple S, right?
Sri.
Yeah. So it will be pronounced as Sha. Okay. Now try
Sure. Okay.
both of them are a Sha.
Show, sir. Okay.
Both are Sha. Sho.
Both are.
Sho.
Okay. Shoshayati.
Shoshayati. Shoshayati means to dry up something. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. This Shoshyate, this Sh is that which we call it Shalgambala, and the other Sh is that normal Sh. Sh.
Yeah. See, you can see it on the top in the verse. See?
Yes, Mataji. Yes. So good. Understand.
So you see when the dot is below the S, then it is Shatkon.
Shatkon.
Way to remember that is that you all know how to write Krishna in Hindi, right?
Yes, Mataji.
So, yeah. So the Shah in Krishna is a Shatkon Shah, right? It's not Shaljamala. And you also, when you write Krishna in English, then you all KRSNA. So remember, there's a dot between all the three of them. There's a dot between all the three. There's a dot before R, there's a dot below N, and there's a dot below the S, right? Like that. So remember, a dot below the S belongs to Krishna. So the other by default will be Shaljam, like that. So you can remember that. Okay? Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, so who goes after
me? Translation. The soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind.
Purport. All kinds of weapons, swords, flame weapons, rain weapons, tornado weapons, etc., are unable to kill the spirit soul. It appears that there were many kinds of weapons made of earth, water, air, ether, etc., in addition to the modern weapons of fire. Even the nuclear weapons of the modern age are classified as fire weapons, but formerly there were other weapons made of all different types of material elements. Fire weapons were counteracted by water weapons, which are now unknown to modern science. Nor do modern scientists have knowledge of tornado weapons. Nonetheless, the soul can never be cut into pieces nor annihilated by any number of weapons, regardless of scientific devices.
The Mayavadis cannot explain how the individual soul come into existence simply by ignorance and consequently become covered by the illusionary energy. Nor was it ever possible to cut the individual souls from the original supreme soul. Rather, the individual souls are eternally separated parts of the supreme soul. Because they are atomic individual because they are atomic individual soul, eternally sanatana, they are prone to be covered by the illusionary energy, and thus they become separated from the association of the Supreme Lord. Just as the spark of a fire, although one in quality with the fire, are prone to be extinguished when out of the fire. In the Varaha Purana, the living entities are described as the separated parts and parcel of the Supreme. They are eternally so, according to Bhagavad-gita also. So, even after being liberated from the illusion, the living entity remains a separate identity, as it evident from the teachings of the Lord to Arjuna. Arjuna became liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so we are little over our designated time here, but I can talk for a few. We can talk for a few minutes, and if there are more talks, then we can continue on Monday. You can stop sharing. Okay, you already did that. Yeah. So let's look at reflections.
I like the point, Mataji, that Krishna is saying that with the physical changes, the soul is remaining unaffected, right? Like with wind, you cannot dry the soul. You cannot moisten with the water. So it is like inconceivable, right? And not touched by the physical manipulation in the world.
Isn't it? Isn't it? It's not like that, you jump into the swimming pool, you get wet, and the soul also gets wet. Right? It's not like that. Nothing changes, nothing happens to the soul because of the changes which are happening in the body. And which is a very interesting thing, because the body goes through, youth, old age, like that. And but that's in your soul. If you look inside you, I mean, how you felt when you were a young child and how you are now as a youth, and adults, is just the same, right? I don't feel any different. I've spent 60 years on this planet. I don't feel any different from how I used to feel when I was 6, for example, than how I feel internally at this. There's no change that I noticed here. I can notice a lot of changes in the outside body. And so yes. And because the soul does not change from one body to another body, that is why you're able to put it in different types of bodies, right? Otherwise it will be like, oh, the soul already went to a hog's body and now it can't go into a deer's body because it has changed, and I need a different type of a soul in a deer's body. So you see, that is how much the separation is of the soul with the body. It is not the body and has actually got nothing to do with the body. The body has been provided to the soul to fulfill the desires and to also exhaust the karmic reactions that we might have, like that. So yes, a very good point that you bring, that it cannot, when it says it cannot be moistened, it cannot be dried and whatever, right? Shushati.
And Mataji, also Prabhupada mentions about the weapons, right? So in the old Mahabharat serial, we used to see like one person sends the water weapon and the other one sends the fire weapon, and both neutralize each other.
Yeah. Yes. And so the interesting thing is that we talk that science is advancing. We are very advanced. The people, they were primitive. We call the older people, like 1,000 years ago, they are primitive. And we are advanced. But look at them, how advanced they are. They're talking about fire weapons, and so we just use fire weapons nowadays, and but they were using water weapons, which we don't use. Sometimes we use tear gas, like that the police will use. Sometimes they throw water to separate animals, like that. But then they also have wind weapons, tornadoes, right? Trinavrata. So we have not even ventured into that area. And so Prabhupada, there is a weapon for each of the 5 Panchbhutas that we have: earth, water, fire, air, ether. So there are ether weapons also, which are not mentioned here, like that. But the main thing that Prabhupada is trying to emphasize here is that, as you can see in the next paragraph, second paragraph, he starts talking about the bashing, right? the Mayavadi bashing, that I say. So any given opportunity that is there for Prabhupada to keep us straight on our path and not to get deviated by other flowery things, is that he's saying that Mayavadis, Mayavadi, the fact that soul cannot be cut. This we have to understand very, very properly. That there's no weapon that can cut the soul. Because the Mayavadi philosophies is that, there's one big soul, and then, you take somehow or the other, you cut pieces of it, and this is what I am, and then ultimately I'll go and I will merge again. That does not happen to the soul at all, ever, is what Prabhupada is saying. That keep on, remember that. It's not that the Supreme Being was one big thing, Krishna was one big thing in the beginning, and then we had, people got cut. All of us got cut from there, and then ultimately we are going to, emerge again and again. He's emphasizing this thing, because we have to keep that in mind, right? That just be, aware of Mayavadi philosophy. And what always bewilders me is that, even after reading all this in the Bhagavad-gita, how can people still form a Mayavadi philosophy? How can they even just understand that, right?
So Mataji, is that the meaning of Sanatana? Because there was a
Sanatan means always. Sanatan means eternal, right?
Okay.
And so eternal means that we are. So when we use it in terms of the soul, we use the term that we are eternally separated, right? And in a few verses before in the same chapter, Krishna says to Arjuna that never was a time that you did not exist, and never will be the time in the future when you will not exist. So if Arjuna wants to go and get merged into something supreme, then he will cease to exist, right, as an individual. But he's saying that no, never was there a time that you did not exist as Arjuna, the soul, and never will there be in the time in the future that you or any of these kings will appear, will live as a separate thing. We are eternally separated souls. 15.7 talks about that. Mame vancho jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatanaha. So he's saying that you are parts and parcels, and you are separated parts and parcels of me. Sanatana, forever, from times immemorial, in the past, going to times in the future. All the times in the future, that is how it's going to be. There's never going to be a time that you will merge. And then Prabhupada gives a very nice example. He sees that when you're trying to understand something, then you might see, like I'm trying to observe. So you go there, and I'm going to observe this forest, for example, right? So somebody who's a zoologist wants to go and make some observations. So if he is looking at from a far distance, the forest will appear to be one green thing, right? He can even take a picture from a distance, and it'll be just one green thing, right? But then as you come, so if you was to describe from that distance how is the forest, he'll say it is one green thing, right? But as he comes closer and closer to the forest, right, what is he going to see in the forest? In addition to in that one green thing, what else will he see?
We see a lot of brown trunks of the trees, dry branches also.
You see, okay, so in addition to green, now you're seeing brown also, right? And then so you're seeing trees also. Now, if you start looking at the tree, what do you expect to find on a tree?
Maybe some birds or fruits or something.
Yeah.
leaves.
Yeah, right. So you see that the more you go and start to critically analyze something, right? And that's what Sankhya Yoga helps you do that. Then when you start analyzing it, you say that, oh, so the forest is not one green thing. It is actually a variety of things, right? It's actually a variety of things over there. So you see, and Prabhupada gives this example that just because a bird is sitting in a tree and the bird also happens to be green, right? Green colored bird, a parrot. If also a green colored bird, it doesn't mean that it has become the tree, right? Just because it is sitting on a tree doesn't mean it has merged with the tree or it has become tree. Tree is very different from a bird, right? Zoologically speaking, also you'll see that they are very, very different, when you look at it. The same thing he's also saying that, even if you are talking about going and merging into the Supreme Lord Krishna, you might philosophize and speculate that I'm going to merge and become one and everything will be just one, right? It's not like that. He's saying that, You know, you will just go and hang in the Brahma Jyoti, you'll hang in the effulgence of Krishna, but you will maintain your identity, because never was there a time when you did not exist, and never will be there a time when you will not exist, like that. So he's saying that it's you know, your individuality will be retained there.
Yes, Mataji, here in this paragraph also he gave very good analogy of the fire and the spark.
Yes, yes,
So, yeah.
yes. And yesterday, yeah, in our Bhakti session also, we were reading about, you know, that we are marginal energy. We are a spark which has a tendency to get extinguished when comes in contact with other things, right? And we have to keep on fanning the spark, right? So that it stays alive, like that. Yeah. Suyash Prabhu, what do you say? Vachana, you had something coming up?
Yes, Mataji, I wanted to ask you that Sanatana, like you see, we call a religion also Sanatan Dharam, Sanatan religion. But when we write a Hindu religion. Why is this difference between? What is the difference between the two?
What is the difference between Sanatan Dharma and Hindu Dharma? Is that what you're saying? Is that the question, Vashana?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. So Sanatan means eternal, something which is always going to be with you, cannot be changed. Okay. And Prabhupada explains in the introduction to Bhagavad-gita is that the Sanatan Dharma of the soul, right, the eternal religion of the soul is to do loving devotional service to the Lord. So that is your true religion, right? Hindu, Muslim, Christian, they all talk to you about serving the Lord. So all these religions are also addressing a part of that in their own way, depending on which mode of material nature you are more influenced by. There'll be different varieties of religion that will pop up like that. Okay. So Hindu religion was a word that was coined by people who were coming from across the Indus River. They could not pronounce Indus, right? So they used to call it Hindus, and then it became Hindu, like those people who are living there. But when they meant that those people who are living across the Indus River, they meant to say that those people who are following the Aryan civilization. And in the second verse of this chapter that we read, Krishna says that, Krishna tells Arjuna, Kutasva Kashmalamidam Vishame Sam Upastitam Anarya Jushtam Asvargayam. So he's saying Anarya Jushtam. So he's saying, from where have these dirt impurities arisen in your mind? They are anarya. They do not become a person who follows the Aryan principle. So Aryan principle was to understand that there is a soul, that there is a spiritual aspect to the body. So 5,000 years ago, people knew, at least 5,000, even if you go back the history, 5,000 years ago, people knew that there is a difference between body and a soul and a spirit soul, right? So those people were calling that, and this was being practiced by people in India. And so they were called Hindus. And basically it is, the right term to use is Sanatan Dharma, like that. Does that help you, Vaishana Mataji?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Connection problems. Yeah. And then
To the lecture again.
Yeah, I'll have to take your permission.
I was just writing Sanatan Dharma.
So I have to take a leave because 7:30 other people are going to start joining this call.
Okay, no problem. I'll listen to.
Yeah, we can continue on Monday for any more reflections which are there. Otherwise, I will pick up a new verse on Monday. And I was asking Suyash Prabhu.
I'll listen.
Yeah, I just want to pick up this to address people on the Facebook. So we have Namazia says, the part that said that the soul is not possible to cut in passes just put my brain in a shock. That the soul cannot be cut. Yes, Namazia, your soul is safe. Nobody can take a knife and cut it. Krishna is emphasizing the indestructibility and individuality of the soul, thus refuting the concept of impersonalism. Yes, thank you, Vidyavadhu Mataji, for catching this thing, because that's the essential message that Prabhupada also wants us to carry away from this verse, is that no, don't fall into the Mayavadi trap. Stay with your nice Vigyapti Panchika prayer and stay with your nice prayer on Sakrideva Prapanno. Yes, stay with your Bhagavad-gita, stay with your Bhagavatam, right? And especially if it has newly arrived into your home. So thank you so much for joining on the call. Vanchikalpatrubhyascha Kripasindhubhyo Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Gaur